Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Luna and this is a mental health and makeup video where I talk about imposter syndrome this week. This is a new series that I've started and I hope that you guys enjoy it. I've had a few negative comments on a few videos, but not focusing on that. This is all about a safe space and a positive place where we can talk and be honest and open about experiences and struggles and hopefully feel validated during it, and hopefully you guys can relate and take something from these videos. So, not gonna lie, as you know, I'm very open and honest here. I do not know what I'm doing. I mean, does anyone? But it's kind of, I guess it's kind of related to this video topic, because today I've chosen to talk about imposter syndrome, which is a stress-related disorder, where basically people feel like, let me just get my makeup ready. That's not what they feel like, that was just me interrupting myself. People feel, if they've got imposter syndrome, like they are going to be found out that they are a fraud. Basically like they don't actually know what they're doing, and that people are going to realise that they have no idea what they're doing and that they're a complete fraud at what they're doing. So I'm sorry, that is not a very good way of describing it. I think my imposter syndrome demon is not being very nice to me today. And I think it's because of the negative comments that I've had on my videos. Although the positives outweigh the negative, I think that you're always going to focus on the negatives and they're always going to have much more of an impact on you and your productivity than positives are, unfortunately, because negatives will just stick in your mind. And I said this and I thought this, and then Liam from Ditch the Label, the CEO and founder, he said the other day, basically, if you've got if you've had a negative experience at a restaurant or a service, you're more likely to put a negative review than if you were to have a positive experience. You're just probably not going to pop that positive experience on there, and it's sort of, you'll take your time to do a negative review but not necessarily positive. We just basically sort of take on the negatives more than the positives, unfortunately. So in terms of imposter syndrome, it's something that I had absolutely no idea. Excuse me. I've had a cup of tea and for some reason that's the impact it's had on me. You'll have to excuse me because this is probably going to be quite long-winded the way it's going, because I don't know what I'm doing, don't know what colours I'm doing, and I'm going to be 100% honest with you about that. So my original thoughts were to do half and half face, but with the Barbie video that I did not long ago, I just feel like it's too similar. So my afterthoughts were basically to do 2 different makeup looks and do a transitional video where I do sort of the confident version of myself with like bright and like golden makeup and things like that, like things that are almost sparking an idea and feeling confident in yourself. And then the second look that represents the imposter syndrome is going to be darker and duller and just basically almost this, I guess, self-conscious sadness kind of look. I don't know how it's going to turn out, so you're basically just going to have to bear with me. I might only do one of the looks on this video. Have fun watching this. Grab a drink if you fancy, and yeah, I will start doing my makeup and just go with the flow, because some of the best things are spontaneous and I am not going to let those comments get to me, and I'm going to try and quieten that voice in my head that's telling me that I'm not good enough, because it's not true. I've already done my pre-makeup skincare. And now I'm just gonna do the pore blurrer. I'm not gonna use too much this time because last time I used a lot. This is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser, and this was gifted to me by Maybelline, but with no obligation to post. Just a quick thing as well, it is the 6 weeks holidays, the children are home from school, so I might have to keep stopping, turning the camera off, but you won't really notice because I'll edit it all out, so the power of editing, eh? So in terms of imposter syndrome, I didn't really know that it was a thing. I thought it was just my anxiety, if I'm honest. I thought I was just this anxious mess, and I also genuinely just didn't think that I was good enough for anything. And it wasn't like, oh, it must just be a voice in my head that's telling me I'm not good enough. I actually thought I wasn't good enough, like, just straight up. I shouldn't be doing this because I don't know what I'm doing, or I shouldn't sign up for this opportunity or go for this job because I don't know what I'm doing. Even when I did have an idea of what I was doing, I knew that I had the ability to do it, but my mind was just like, no, it's actually just safer to not. And I think that even those who don't have anxiety and depression and things like that, I think that everyone's got this self-doubt, this self-confidence issue. Oh, I don't know why it's gone dark. But I just don't think we fully grasp when imposter syndrome takes over. And it wasn't until I saw a post, I think it was either on Instagram or on Pinterest, and I saw like an illustration, you know, those cute illustrations, and it had all of the symptoms, not symptoms, but sort of just the things that imposter syndrome comes with, and the traits of the imposter syndrome demon as such. I use the word demon, it's purely just, it's just a thing that helps me sort of visualise mental illness and struggles. Completely understand if it's not how other people perceive things like that, but I really like a show called Big Mouth, where they almost personify feelings, mental health struggles, hormones and things like that, because even though I have things like autism and anxiety and tic disorder, I struggle to actually grasp what each of them are. So when they're personified, or when I put an image to the word or to the struggle, it helps me understand it and be able to look at it in a different way and talk about it better as if it were a person. Yeah, let's just say that imposter syndrome is like a demon or an enemy or just a friend that we don't always get on with. And yeah, basically, I can't remember what I was talking about. So yeah, I saw this graphic thing on Pinterest or Instagram, and people started talking about this imposter syndrome. And after reading and seeing the feelings that you get with imposter syndrome, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe, just maybe, I have this. Considering it is essentially a stress-related disorder, and I have struggled with anxiety for the majority of my life. I've also had stress stress related disorders before. In my last video I spoke about when bullying and stress in my life led to me developing a stress disorder called trichotillomania or trichotillomania, where I ended up pulling out my hair and losing my hair. So it made sense that I possibly had imposter syndrome. It's not, haven't done my research into it, so I don't know facts, figures, statistics, all of the above. I don't know if it's a genuine sort of diagnosable disorder. I might have a look and then pop some information here. But yes, I'm not sure if it's diagnosable. I'm not sure if there are therapies that can help it. But one thing I know is that a lot of people struggle with it, and as soon as I saw the certain things on there, I was like, that sounds a lot like what I'm going through. And yeah, it was quite validating to see in words the way that I felt about myself and the things that I experienced. So I was quite happy with discovering it. It's almost like when you go to the doctors, you've had symptoms, you've had pain, and then they go, oh, this is what it sounds like, blah 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 blah. It kind of makes you feel just relieved knowing that, number one, you're not going insane, number two, when it comes to a health condition, like, it's not as severe as you thought. Again, I'm not making much sense, and I think that that's probably also imposter syndrome, or I genuinely am not making sense. Probably get some shite in the comments about that. So I've wrote a few notes on my laptop, so if I keep looking down, then that's why. But yeah, basically I have always had this thing. I'm not sure if this is imposter syndrome or whether this is purely insecurities and self-doubt and self-consciousness. I think that they're quite a similar thing, and I think that they all sort of come into the same package. I could be wrong, but in my mind that's sort of how it works with imposter syndrome and self-doubt and things. And I always had this feeling that whenever I was complimented and told that either I looked nice or that I'd done really well at something, or if someone was like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty, or your makeup looks good, or just any compliment that I've ever received pretty much, I was convinced, like not even just like a little thought, I was absolutely convinced that whoever had complimented me, it was purely because they felt sorry for me, and that they thought that I was small and ugly. Not that ugly is a thing, it's not a definition. Due to just being bullied and just the way life is, I've always seen ugly as a bad word. I just thought that people were calling me pretty or saying my makeup looked nice because they felt sorry for me and wanted to make me feel better. And that's something that literally I remember since I was younger. I've always sort of heard a compliment in a patronising way, like, oh, you're so pretty, oh my god, you're so beautiful, oh, you look incredible. And yeah, I've always seen it very patronising. But I don't think that that is the case. I think that it genuinely is the imposter syndrome, and that part of me that's going, no, that can't be right, I'm not beautiful, I'm not pretty, I'm not talented. And I think that that probably does come from suppressed emotions and suppressed, I guess, like a trauma response almost. Like you've been told so many times that you're not good enough in the past, or you've been bullied into literally believing what those people have said and almost becoming your own biggest bully rather than your own biggest fan. And yeah, I think whether that's been peer pressure from adults in your life, peer pressure from teachers or friends, or just being bullied by people who have said not nice things to you or done not nice things to you. I think that that's sort of where it comes from, that inner voice, that imposter syndrome. It's the part of you that's going, well, we've been told this in the past, so it must be true. You know, you can't amount to anything. You're not good enough. And even now, I genuinely don't feel like I'm good enough for most things. I'm a foster carer. If you've followed me on Instagram or if you know me personally, you'll know that I have been a foster carer now for 3 years to my family. And when we were being assessed, I just kept thinking, they're going to find out that I'm not as professional or not as strong-minded, or just not the person that I come across as. And I was constantly, and I still am, in this sort of mindset that I'm gonna get found out. You know, the thought of there being like hidden cameras and seeing something that I do, and it's like, ha, you're not the person you said you were. You're not as good as you said you were or made out to be. And it's like a constant thing in the back of my mind. And it's definitely imposter syndrome, because at first I thought maybe it was paranoia as well. But I think, again, all these things, imposter syndrome, you know, mild paranoia, because paranoia is a very different thing, but mild paranoia and self-doubt, self-confidence issues, it all sort of comes into the same sort of thing, and you can look at them and relate them and connect them all together in a way. So I don't know if you've ever sort of had this experience or you've just been in this situation, but I remember the first time I was on the radio, and I basically been picked up on Twitter, and they were speaking about, I've lost my mirror, no I haven't, the Marie Kondo tidying method. And at that point, I'd been speaking about it on Twitter. When I say speaking, I mean typing. And oh my gosh, that's not the colour that it looks like. Not gonna lie. It's gonna work though. I keep saying So I was speaking about the Marie Kondo spark joy, life-changing magic of tidying. And I was basically trying to sort of change my life a little bit at the time with my mum, because we had, you know, a lot of stuff going on. We had some difficulties in our family, and I was just thinking, oh, got a phone call, one sec. That phone call was definitely a scam. So yeah, we were talking about Marie Kondo tidying method, and although I knew what I was talking about, you know, I'd read the book, I'd seen the programme on Netflix, I was talking about it on my blog, etc. When it came to going on the radio, and they'd reached out to me, and I was like, me? Why me? There are billions of people in the world. Why me? And they're asking me questions, and at first I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Why am I here? Why am I talking about this topic when I clearly don't know a lot about it? And I was honestly just sabotaging myself completely, and thinking that it was a mistake, I'd been put there by accident, and just thinking shortly they're going to find out that I'm a complete idiot, that I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about, and everyone's going to laugh at me, realise that I am stupid, that I have no idea what I'm going on about, like I right am now. Gosh, I think the topic of this video is getting to me a little bit. But yeah, to cut a long story short, because I'm just babbling, I was so convinced that they were going to find out that I was just a complete fraud, that I had no idea what the hell was going on, and that they were going to regret having me on the show. But it turns out that I went with the flow, and I just spoke about what I did know, and the interview turned out so good, and they ended up coming to my house and doing a television interview. Part of me was like, okay, I must kind of know what I'm going on about, otherwise they wouldn't be here, would they? They wouldn't want to speak to me. Again, they came to the house, we did the interview. But even after that, after they went, I didn't want to tell anyone about the TV appearance, I didn't want to tell anyone about the radio, and I didn't want to talk about it because I was so convinced that people were going to ask me questions, that I wasn't going to know how to answer them, and I was so terrified that I just was not going to be good enough, and again, that people were going to find out that I just hadn't got a clue, when it turns out I actually did. Yeah, that was like one of the first experiences of the media that I'd had. But yeah, and I mean, in general life, it's difficult to feel good enough, but when you're on like social media or you're in the media, I think it just becomes this new level of anxiety and confidence issues because there's so much comparison, and I think that there's just so many people doing a similar thing, and I mean like what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I think there's so much online hate and bullying as well, and people get called out for things, and that just does not help imposter syndrome, because it's that feeling of, oh shit, if I do something wrong, or you know, it's something as stupid as, oh, if I talk about this folding method in a way that it's not meant to be, then someone's gonna call me out and be like, oh hey, why are you on the radio? You don't know what you're talking about. And yeah, it's just stupid stuff like that. You know, these external factors don't help the way that people feel about themselves. And so it's no wonder that there's a rise in people who are like, I think I've got imposter syndrome. So I think there's, again, it's this idea of sort of not fitting in as well. Like, I've come on to, I was on YouTube like years ago doing book reviews. Funnily enough, someone in the comments of my last video said basically oh, that I was kind of like, oh, look at me, validate me. And then they said, why don't you go and read a book or something? And it's funny because I replied to them and I just said, well, funny thing is, I used to review books on my channel. And yeah. But yeah, sidetrack. But yeah, so if you're watching this, person who commented, I read a lot of books. Just because I do makeup and talk about mental health and things like that doesn't mean that I'm also not educated. So yeah. But yeah, so I've always felt like I didn't fit in, and doing book reviews and things, and then doing like vlogs and just trying to, well, I knew that I wanted to go into like social media and I love creating content, but I never felt like I fit in with all of the other influencers that were doing it. And it's such a vast and just forever growing community, and now it's also a career, and it's something that I wanted to do, but I just didn't feel like I fit in. And I think finding what you love and going with that, but then there's just constant setbacks, and imposter syndrome is a massive thing in terms of setbacks, because you're constantly being told by this voice and possibly by haters that you're not good enough. And when I started doing makeup, like pictures before reels were a thing and shorts and TikTok, I used to really enjoy doing the makeup look, but then I was thinking, what purpose do I have online? You know, everyone can do makeup, everyone can just do their makeup and share the products, but for me I felt like I was missing something. And it took me ages to gather up the courage to be like, right, let's go back out there. You know, we're not doing book reviews anymore, not really doing vlogs. Let's just go back out there and do something that I feel is worth my time, worth other people's time, and that's serving a purpose. I've learnt a lot over these past few months with being part of the Maybelline campaign and Ditch the Label, the bullying and mental health campaign, and I was invited to a retreat, which was a PR retreat, and I remember sitting at this table and just looking down at everyone thinking, oh my gosh, they almost think that I am such an undeserving person because I'm here but my Instagram's only got, you know, XYZ views and friends, followers, and in the back of my mind I was constantly thinking I shouldn't be here, I should just go back to the hotel or make an excuse to go home because I don't fit in and these people do so much better than me and they know what they're talking about and I don't, and I'm not very good at makeup and XYZ. And I actually openly spoke about this with like Nikki, Lily and Zayn, and I was basically just saying like, I don't feel good enough to be here because you guys are amazing, and I was like, said to Nikki like, she's one of my idols, I think she's amazing, and I just don't feel worthy enough. And she was like, don't be silly, like everyone's got this purpose. And you know, it helped me realise that whatever I put out online and whatever other people put out online, we're doing it for ourselves, for other people who are viewing, and because we enjoy it as well. And yeah, after doing all the campaign, it just made me realise that even if we don't know what we're doing, because let's face it, most people don't, just do it anyway. You'll learn along the way. I don't really know anything about makeup, and yeah, that's gonna stain my eye. I don't really know anything about makeup. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know, you know, what cream to apply first, or what the best products are, or how to apply it so that it looks incredible. But I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to have fun with it, and whilst I'm learning, talking to you guys and enjoying it. So let's bring you a little bit closer. And so yeah, I've realised that that's what it's about. It's about community, and that's a lot nicer. Yeah, community and entertainment and feeling part of something, whether you're a professional or not. So yeah, don't let imposter syndrome rule over you and take control of your life and just completely ruin your chances, because if imposter syndrome is just going to make you go, actually I'm probably better off just not even trying because I have no chance, then that's just taking away the possibility of a chance and of success. And yeah, we all get turned down, we all fall sometimes, but it's about getting up and trying and fighting back against those voices. I'm not so sure this is speaking. Oh my gosh, my legs. I've had my legs crossed for ages and now I feel like my knees don't exist. Let me just have a stretch. It's a good job you can't see the bottom half of my body. probably not a pleasant sight. Yeah, let's face it, I don't know what I'm going on about. I think that the aim of this video has just turned into me being a prime example of imposter syndrome, self-doubt, and just rambling like an idiot. Important to do things despite not fully knowing about it, like in terms of what I'm doing. Like I said, I don't know all that much about makeup, and I forget things very quickly because of my anxiety. I'll just have learnt about something, or I'll be talking about a topic and just gone, because I get so worked up that I basically erase information from my mind, whether that's temporary or whether it's long term. But if you enjoy doing something, it brings you joy, it's not hurting anyone, then go for it and go for that opportunity. And even if you're not the most clued up on a topic, learn and be open about the fact that yes, you don't know everything yet, but you will and you can, and that's something that you can achieve if you put your mind to it. I have done mentoring with the Dana Award, and also I'm an expert by experience with Birmingham City University, and I've had to stand in front of students in a lecture theatre or in a class in secondary school and speak about what emotional intelligence is, or speak about self-care, or just lots of different subjects like social action. And then in the lecture theatres, things like about social work and foster care and different mental health and neurotypical things. And at times I've thought, I don't know what I'm going on about, I can't remember what I'm going on about. They're going to realise that I'm not good enough, they're going to realise that I have no idea what's going on, and they're probably going to get rid of me. And none of that has happened, believe it or not. And every time there's been a good response. But even when I've messed up or got my words mixed up, just be honest, explain how you're feeling, explain that you're having a hard time, that you're struggling, that you're feeling anxious, and those things, they're human. And I find that if you know, are open with someone about how you're feeling and how your imposter syndrome is making you feel, there'll always be someone that will make you see that it's not actually true what you're thinking. That voice in the back of our mind isn't always speaking the truth, and it's like depression, anxiety. We get to the point where we have these thoughts about not being good enough, or not knowing what we're doing, or like when we look in the mirror and just see something not very nice staring back at us. It's not the truth, it's how we're perceiving things, it's how our mental health and mental state is at that point. But it's not the truth, it's something else entirely. And that's where this imposter syndrome, I guess, starts to become a huge issue, when we can't differentiate between the truth and what our minds are telling us. So it's really important to confide in someone and hopefully have someone in support of putting those voices down and bringing out the truth. And almost, I guess, thinking logically, it's like when I have anxiety really badly, or I'm having these irrational, illogical thoughts about something, or I've got an opportunity come up and I say to my other half, I'm just like, I just don't think I should do it, I'm not good enough, I'm not experienced enough, maybe it'll just be easier if I say no or make up an excuse to not do it. And he'll say, you know, they wouldn't have asked you, wouldn't have reached out to you if they didn't think that you knew what you were doing. I keep getting phone calls and it's like interrupting my brain flow. I'm not answering it. I think it's like really important to just let you know that I'm not having the best day today in terms of my confidence, and yeah, I'm a bit all over the place with my words, and I think maybe I shouldn't have recorded this video today because I wasn't exactly sure what to speak about, and I think I've just mucked it all up. My own imposter syndrome has got the better of me today, and I keep getting confused with what I'm talking about. And this is what happens when I get anxious or start to overthink. And I was reading some of the comments earlier, and although they kind of haven't really bothered me, I think that just as I'm about to film a video, when you've got someone sort of talking to you about what they think of you and it's not positive, yeah, I just don't think that helps. But I'm still going to post this video because I've taken my time to film it, and I think that we don't need to put out perfection because we're all a bit messy, and I think that the sooner that people start to show their messiness, then the sooner other people will feel validated. Yeah, if you've ever felt imposter syndrome, let me know in the comments if you feel safe enough to do so, that is. I think even the most confident people get self-doubt and an element of imposter syndrome. I don't think it's just something that just a handful of people get. Most people that I speak to who create content online, or just in general, have that not good enough feeling and the feeling that they're going to be found out that they're a fraud. Like, between shots of this video, I've been sort of looking in my mirror at myself, and at one point I kind of felt a bit upset because of the texture of my skin and the quality of my makeup not being fantastic. And I was thinking maybe I should just forget this and not post it, but no, because then that's letting that self-doubt win, and I'm not doing it. Not doing it. I think that sorry, some anxious ticks there. I think that with this social media, you know, videos and pictures and putting yourself out online, there's always going to be the thought in the back of your mind that you're not good enough and that you shouldn't be doing it. But I'm really trying to just have fun with this, as well as try and help people and just build a community where people feel heard and validated and listened to. And it could be a really lonely place sometimes when you're struggling with something and when you think that no one else understands, but then when you come across a video of someone who's speaking with a similar experience, it's that sort of light bulb moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm not alone, this person has explained exactly how I feel. And that's why I do it. Not for the views, not for the likes, not for the comments, not for recognition. It's so that people, like I said in the campaign recently, that I needed someone like myself when I was younger. If I saw a video of myself doing this now, or someone doing a video like this, I would have felt so heard and would have felt less like I was going insane. Because when you have these thoughts, some people often point point the finger and say, you know, you're making it up in your head, or don't be silly, and it's just a very isolating thing. So yeah, if we can reach at least one person and make them feel like they're not insane. I mean, we're all a little bit insane, but yeah, so that's why I do this. So if you're watching to this point and you haven't given up on me, that's why I've posted this jumbled up video, because I want people to see the real me. If you are struggling with self-doubt and imposter syndrome, so a few things that I found that help is, number one, keeping like a record of your achievements, maybe in like picture form or a list of achievements, and keeping them close so that when you're struggling or when you feel like you don't know about a certain topic, or that basically you're just not good enough, you're going to be found out to be this person who has no idea, have a look at what you've achieved, see what you've done, and have it firsthand so that you can go, no, that's not true. Let's, you know, kick back into logic and see the facts. And seeing your achievements, seeing things that have made you happy, yeah, I think that's a way to sort of make yourself realise that those thoughts aren't necessarily true. I think secondly, talking to someone, whether that's a teacher, whether that's a colleague, manager, friend, family member, mental health professional, or even an online service if you're feeling like it's becoming too much and there's no one else to turn to. Yeah, being open and honest. So my camera just decided to stop recording, so I'm having to record the rest on my phone. But yeah, don't feel like you're not valid, and that your feelings aren't worthy of being listened to and helped. Like I said in the other videos, like you matter, and how you feel matters, and if it's causing you struggles and it's preventing you from doing things, then you definitely deserve to be listened to and, yeah, made to realise that it's not just all in your head. You know, these things can be helped, and yeah. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with like a bold lip on this one, because I want this to be like a bold, I know what I'm talking about look, and yeah, confidence. I want it to be like, yeah, this is confidence at its finest. This is before the self-doubt and imposter syndrome kicks in. Let's have a look. So I think I'm going to go with this kind of colour and my bright red. This has been a journey and a half in terms of this video. Does that look like the lipstick of a confident person? I think it does. Yeah, this has been a hard video for me, to be honest, and it's quite evident that I've struggled quite a lot throughout, so I apologise, but this is me and this is reality, and yeah, very fitting with the topic. And it just goes to show that we're not perfect, and we all have our quirks and struggles, and that it's totally okay. So this is my confident I know what I'm doing look, despite really not knowing what I'm doing. The last two videos went so well, and this one has just sort of flopped. But confident woman makeup right now you are propped up on my other camera whilst this is filming on my phone, because when I have my phone sideways, my tripod tilts and falls. So the phone is on its side on the tripod, resting on my camera. So yeah. So this is the finished look. Broke hair. Forever trying to battle with the partings of my hair. Far from perfect, but yeah. So yes, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I know that it has been quite, again, discombobulated and slightly confusing perhaps, but I hope that you've took something out of it and found a message within it somewhere. I would love it if you would subscribe or give it a like if you fancy, but if not, no worries, and hopefully I don't get as many negative reviews, not reviews, comments on this one, but hey ho if so, and hello to those who feel the need to do so. But thank you to those lovely people who comment lovely things, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Maybe a few different videos on the channel other than Makeup Mondays. And yeah, I think that this will get easier in time, but for now I am still new to this, and yeah. Thank you so much, and please have a lovely day, and try not to be such a big critic of yourself. I know that that's really silly of me to say, considering I'm literally kind of hating on myself right now about this video. But no, we've got this. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon. On the next screen there will be some helplines and some organisations that can help you if you are struggling with your mental health or if you are in crisis. So if you do need to chat to someone and you don't feel like you can speak to family, friends, or someone that you know, or teacher or colleague, then please reach out to someone on one of the helplines that I've provided in the next section of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.